what do you think about my new haircut?
Oh, this is like...
Ready? So guys, I'm getting a haircut here. Just hey! Slow down there! Slow down! Boy, I look nice today.
Wait, let me see, Daniel.
Hey, old granny! I finally got my haircut done.
So as you can see, Daniel got a haircut, a nice new haircut, by some just random troll on the street. And now, shortly afterwards, I mean, look at him. He's flipping the bird to the camera. He is not happy with his new locks. But, ladies and gentlemen, he's making the best out of it. Because that's all Daniel Larson can do. When you live on the streets, you're going bus to bus, here, there, and everywhere, just trying to find a place to lie your head. Well, you gotta make the best out of a bad situation. And I think the haircut, and, it is a pretty gnarly haircut. It's not the best, but for Daniel, it kind of works. But no matter what, it's not the worst thing going on in Daniel's life right now, because he's got a whole lot of stuff on his plate. But I thought I'd start out talking about this, because it is really the most shocking thing he's done recently. I mean, look at this shit. He kind of looks like when a cartoon character gets bonked on the head and they immediately grow like a big lump. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I put it up on screen here. And as soon as I put that up on screen, I realized what YouTube could interpret that as. So let's take that down immediately. But yeah, Daniel Larson. It's not been the best of times for him, but when has it been? It's been about a year now since I started covering the guy. And in that year's time, well, we've seen a lot.
I'm on the phone with my security.
You're smoking crack or tweak?
No, I'm not. No! No, because you hit me! You hit me in there! You ran over me! Bob just ran me over with his car! Bob just ran me over! The motel threatened to kill me! The motel threatened to kill me! The motel threatened to kill me! The motel threatened to kill me!
Take out his ass. Holy shit. Oh my god.
If you put one hand on me...
Get the fuck out of here!
Okay, Nick.
Really? It's going to be like that?
You're threatening me, and I don't know if you're going to put hands on me or...
Call me a...
It's safe to say that it's been one hell of a year in Larsonian history, but the year goes on, and so much new stuff happens in Daniel's life on a daily basis, and it's been quite a while since we checked in on the guy, so today that's what we're gonna do. So let's go ahead and see what type of antics that Daniel gets himself into.
Bob's manager at his work, at his job, found out who I am and fired Bob because he's in contact with me.
I highly doubt that's true, because 9 times out of 10, when Daniel says these type of things, it's troll influenced. He's always getting random text messages from people claiming to be other people in his life, and he believes it hook, line, and sinker every single time. However, let's act like this is real for a second and say that Bob's manager did walk in and go, "Yo, Bob, like, I see what you're doing, all that fornication with Daniel Larson, cut it out." And then when he sees that Bob hasn't stopped yet, the boss just lets go of him. You know, Bob is someone who people have seen Daniel abuse for a long time, and genuinely, you gotta feel for the guy. He really does care about Daniel, and he's the only type of, like, adult figure in his life who can sort out Daniel's problems. But a lot of people don't like Bob because they think he should completely cut Daniel off. And I gotta say, I agree with these people, but it doesn't make me dislike Bob, because I can understand that this dude is like, he has some weird connection to Daniel, and there's other people who have thrown theories out that that connection might be a lot weirder than we initially thought, but that's all hearsay. Now what we're gonna look at are these so easily identifiably fake screenshots that Daniel is putting on his YouTube page and claiming that they came from the Vanderwall family. The Vanderwall family being burying the family of the girl Grace that he's been obsessed with almost half of his life now. And I gotta say, these text correspondence between Daniel and his trolls are always so outlandish, and Daniel falls for it every time. I know I already mentioned that, but as you're about to see, like, it shows how, like, out of it Daniel really is. He's like Chris in that way, where he's very, very naive, and it's something that he's never going to be able to break, and that's why he needs someone like Bob in his life, but he constantly does so much stuff to push Bob out of it, so it's this dangerous cycle that's always going to repeat until Daniel has nobody left. But, like, I'm going too far into this. Let's look at these screenshots. So Daniel posts a picture of Grace telling him that they apparently want to arrest her parents for their Halloween costumes. She then sends a picture of the costumes and says how outrageous it is, and Daniel titles this, "I bet one of the investigators wants to wear one of those." And they get even more ridiculous, as the next one, Daniel says that Slim Jim from the subreddit sent Grace this shirt and she's wearing it. Now, let's zoom in on this shirt a little bit. I mean, and Daniel, like, he doesn't think twice. He sees this stuff and goes like, wow, like, you know, she must really love me to put on that shirt and send me this picture. Like, he doesn't squint, he doesn't do nothing. All he has to do is just see it, and he believes it. And if you needed any more proof, look at this next one. It's a text that Grace screenshotted and sent to Daniel, apparently, that's from her mom, but look at the name on top. Like, if you have an iPhone, you know this isn't the font that's used on there. In the next text we're going to look at, it's the normal one, where someone simply changed their name to Tina Vanderwall instead of going in and putting like a Snapchat filter on there. And up there it is. See, it's a different font now. It's the normal one. And in this text, you can see that whoever this is posing as Grace's mom, they're basically just trying to get Daniel to go live and freak out and call out like some fake Secret Service for content. This happens quite a lot with Daniel, and I would say about maybe 4 or 5 times out of 10 it works. Most times, though, Daniel just writes back a text message not even related to the situation because he just doesn't feel like doing it right then and there.
Alrighty, so I just called the probation officer and she didn't answer. So, looks like I'm going crazy for the weekend.
You gotta love to see Daniel's constant attempts to kind of manipulate people into doing what he wants them to do by saying things like, if you don't do this, I'm gonna go crazy. He always says he's gonna commit seppuku, do a bunch of these things if people don't do what he wants. And now his probation officer, well, they're not answering the phone. So whatever happens to anyone around my immediate vicinity is on you now. You see the title on this next one, and you know exactly what's about to happen. Just more intercepting from the trolls.
Get the fuck out of here! I will call the fucking police! Alrighty, so last night I got a motel room. It was $250.
Why? Like, why do that? Daniel is homeless. Daniel isn't even someone who lives paycheck to paycheck. He lives donation to donation. He's lucky to eat 1 meal a day, and most times he simply dine and dashes. He's so pressed for money, in fact, that he's been freaking out at Bob, the same guy he abuses all the time, for not paying for everything for him. And he also will go live most nights and just have the camera up where it's a black screen and he's sleeping like against a wall somewhere. You can't see anything, but he's just keeping it up so that hopefully people donate. Daniel he needs this money to survive and to just get through his daily life, and he's fine with doing that on the street. But when he does decide to get a motel, he always seemingly just balls the fuck out. Like, why? Just go stay at like a Motel 6 for like $69 a night. You can get yourself like 5 nights for that price. But I don't know. Maybe Daniel just likes to live lavish. But if I were in his shoes, it's not the type of life I would want to live. Oh, well, I spoke too soon. Looks like it's nothing but City View Marriotts for the rest of Daniel's days. Because if this title is to be believed, Daniel's becoming rich.
Thank you to all of my fans for the support, and thank you Dave & Buster's for the support.
He's got 15 bucks in his hand, and apparently he's becoming rich. It wasn't too long ago that Daniel made like a few thousand off his cameos and everything. So I don't know why he wasn't flaunting that, saying he was gonna be rich, but now this 15 bucks is gonna take him to the moon. Secondly, he says that he thanks Dave and Buster's for the support. I bet you Dave and Buster's, if they ever saw this video, is like, no, we do not support no types of Daniel Larson.
Alrighty, so Bob just got laid off of his job, so I am now the only working person within the family.
So Daniel says that Bob got laid off, which would be terrifying for Daniel because he wouldn't be able to mooch off of Bob because Bob would have less disposable income. But again, I'm pretty sure he's probably just talking to a troll posing as Bob. But then Daniel says that he is the only working person now within this family. Firstly, him thinking that he actually has a job and he's always working is, it's Daniel, so it's not shocking that he thinks that. All these lolcows think whatever they do online is a job, but just hearing him say it's so ridiculous. Daniel says that he's the one in the family, though, who makes the most money, and calling him and Bob's relationship a family still is weird, when Daniel, it's obvious that all he cares about is the money that Bob can give him.
Hello everyone. So yesterday for Westminster City Court, Municipal Court, I pleaded guilty to 1 year supervised probation, and I have to pay restitution. That was for the gas station issue where the guy grabbed my throat and the window got broken. I went ahead and pleaded guilty for the window.
What Daniel is talking about here is the fact that a few weeks ago, he had to go to court and got given a 1 year probation due to his massive freakout he had inside of a gas station after his dog Music was taken from him. Now, if you don't remember that situation, Daniel Larson, a man who can't take care of himself, got a dog, named it Music, and was barely even giving it water. And people wanted to get this dog away from Daniel and get it back to somewhere where it could really be taken care of. And when it happened, Daniel lost his mind. And now, this is what happened. Daniel is on a 1 year probation, and let's all take a wild guess if he's going to break it or not, What would you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. You think Daniel can go a year without possibly breaking his probation? I highly doubt it.
Okay, Taylor Swift is moving really, really fast in her new relationship. It's not going to hold out.
All jokes aside, he's probably right about the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce thing. Nonetheless, Daniel probably just wants Taylor Swift for himself, so there's that.
Alright, you guys know my PayPal link. It's in my comments and on my videos, so donate to my flippin' PayPal account. Right, people in my fan base are making fake accounts impersonating to be me so the fans donate. And people steal money, and it goes to people that are impersonators.
Oh, I fully believe that some people are probably doing that, but I think what Daniel's referring to here is the fact that people are making merch and selling it. Some merch that has like the Larson name on it and stuff, and nonetheless, I mean, if it's not trademarked, Daniel, you're shit out of luck. And he also wants to remind people to donate to his flippin' PayPal, you know he wanted to go off right there and be like, hey guys, like, how am I gonna pay for my studio this month, and I need to go see Grace, you guys need to get me donations. Like, he really does feel like that people owe him these things. Even people like Bob, who've taken care of him for such a long time, he still feels like he's owed this from Bob because he's not getting it from the rest of the world as he should be, because he's like a world famous star, musician, yada yada yada. He just expects everything given to him. Not a shocker, though, if you know what Daniel's like.
I need to pay my current phone bill by tonight, and it's $50. All right, it's now No Nut November.
I would put money on it that whoever paid Daniel's phone bill was also the one who asked him to make that No Nut November video. I say that because of the big smile Daniel has on his face, kind of like he just got something paid for and he's in a swell mood. Besides, people ask Daniel to do that type of goofy shit all the time, and as long as you're paying him to do it, he seemingly has no problem with it. But alas, ladies and gentlemen, even if you think you have some funny idea for one of these lolcows, never pay them, and always watch from afar.
The CU University scholarship that I had and still have is a full ride scholarship. The Boulder County judge threatened me with a longer sentence because the fans leaked the courtroom information and videotapes.
See, that kind of surprises me, because the trolls have done this before. If you forget, when Daniel was arrested at Boulder, when he tried to get into the football game to go talk to Deion Sanders, when he was in jail for a weekend, it was time for him to see a judge on Monday, and people just flooded this online courtroom. People were drawing like dicks and everything on the screen. It was just a mess. It was an absolute mess, and eventually they just gave up and Daniel just left jail that day. So the trolls really just got Daniel out of trouble when I think most people want to see this man behind bars. And in this occasion, the judge threatened Daniel over the antics of the trolls, because I'm not sure what happened, but it was probably something like the last time where at least people were harassing the courtroom enough to the point where they brought this up to Daniel. And yeah, it's always going to be a tricky situation when someone like Daniel or someone like Cyrax goes to court or something, because with the massive followings that a lot of these locales have, everyone wants to get involved, and it can be a problem. You see, like, Daniel ends up walking out of jail. Cyrax ended up getting off, but that was more because the guy who was pressing charges kind of wimped out. But it always happens this way. When a bunch of people try to get involved and try to make shit like funny in their own way, and it never works out, and these locales always end up getting the W. You never want to do that. But in this situation, the judge seemingly just pointed the finger at Daniel, and that can be nothing but bad for the little guy, because his trolls are pretty relentless.
Because of the amount of money Bob is giving me and the amount I am making in music sales, I no longer qualify for the public defenders. The person that got me banned from CU University Boulder campus was private security for the CU football game only, a private company. So, Grace Vanderwall have asked me if I wanted to go to London Fashion Week with her, 2024.
Jesus, he's all over the place, and he's always like this, but every time I go and make a video on him, it always shocks me nonetheless. But where we start with that little series of clips, Daniel talks about not being able to get a public defender anymore due to the money that he makes and the money that Bob gives to him. And then he gives a very fearful look at the end, because if you know anything about Daniel, you know that he does not want to pay for anything he doesn't have to. Because yes, he could always hire a real lawyer, someone who could actually do this job better, but you know, it's not worth it if Daniel can't get some of those $250 hotel rooms, damn it. Then Daniel brings up him getting arrested at the CU football game, and the fact that the person who apprehended him, the security guard, well, he was a private security guard. He didn't work for the school. And I think this goes back to Daniel thinking that the made-up scholarship that Deion Sanders is giving him, you know, the $10,000 celebrity scholarship, I can't even say it with a straight face, but Daniel truly believes that Dion is giving him a $10,000 celebrity scholarship that they give to celebrities to come to the school, you know? Because obviously those are the people who need money, the people with the most money. And Daniel thinks because this person is a private security guard and not someone who works for the school, that he can waltz back on in there. Because it's not like anyone from the school said anything to him. It was only this private security guard that they hired. So he's a-okay to head back in there and maybe try out for the football team if Dion really needs him to. And then in the final clip, Daniel says that Grace Vanderwall wants him to go with her to Fashion Week in 2024 over in London. And of course he thinks this. He's back to the beginning of the cycle. He thinks that Grace is still in love with him. And no matter what Grace does or says, Daniel will never be able to stop. I mean, I showed that series of clips in the beginning of the video all throughout the year. A lot of those times when Daniel's like beating himself up, literally and figuratively, he was doing it because of Grace, and Grace, or people who are, posing as Grace, because he's never talked to the real girl, and he just keeps falling for these trolls. And no matter what type of crazy bullshit they say to him, and they do say a lot, he will consistently keep falling back into the trap. And the saddest thing about all this is that Daniel's feelings for Grace are pretty goddamn genuine for a guy who's never met this woman in his life. And while I say it's sad, it's more along the lines of creepy, because we've seen how people like this have acted before, You look at a lot of people who ended up being like serial killers and all. They have these infatuations with women who don't even know they exist, and Daniel's making videos like you're about to see directed towards Grace, and you can see the guy has some love in his heart, but he's got to realize at some point in his life that this woman's feelings aren't reciprocated. But the problem is there's so many trolls coming at him on a daily basis that he really thinks he's talking to her, and all it can do is lead to like bad times for Grace if Daniel's ever like around her or anything. But let's just hope it never gets to that point, and thank God for security guards.
Hello everyone. Today is November 4th, 2023, and I am going to be talking about Grace Vanderwall and I, and what I like about her, and why I think I could be a good boyfriend and future husband. First off, I want to say that Grace is an amazing, talented person you can only find once in a generation, once in a lifetime. You will never see anything like her again. She's unique, she's funny, she's smart, she's everything you ever wanted to be. I love her music. She does everything I do, from singing to acting to fashion. She travels the world. She has everything that I want in my life. She is smart. It's never been about age. It's always been about true love. I feel like in life you can never give up. No matter what happens, you have to keep fighting, no matter how hard it gets. I know I've messed up in my life. Everyone does. But that's not a reason to give up on something. I want nothing else in my life other than Grace, and I will fight every single day until I get it. Love you, Grace, and I can't wait for our future.
Yeah, see, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I get he's passionate about this. He really loves this person, but this needs to be nipped in the bud as soon as possible because Daniel, he keeps going on like this. He's already obsessed. You don't want this dude to get any crazy ideas if the girl eventually says she wants nothing to do with him, stops getting in contact with him. Like, what's going to happen when all the trolls dry up and there's no Grace Vanderwall texting him? He's going to try everything in his power to go find out why she stopped talking to him. And you heard him there say it, that he will not stop at anything until he gets what he wants, and what he wants is Grace's love. You can draw parallels to Chris Chan, because Chris was always trolled by people pretending to be women in his life, women who were love interests to him, and he would always believe them, even if there was no proof or nothing. Chris just took them at their word, just like Daniel does here. And Chris still does this almost into his 40s. A lot of people speculate that the woman he's with right now is a troll herself, but Daniel's like 23, 24 years old, and that just shows that he can be doing this for years and years to come. But as of right now, the only woman he's interested in is Grace Vanderwall. But I kind of take that back, because he's interested in a lot of women, and a lot of times a lot of these women were underage, Grace being one of them when Daniel first formed his infatuation with her. And in that little clip we just watched, Daniel even brought up that it's never been about age, because despite people always telling him it was weird, he was never willing to accept that. And if he's never willing to accept creepy things like that, he'll probably never be willing to accept the fact that she doesn't love him at all. And who knows, man, where this could go, but I only see it leading to bad places. And really, that's what Daniel's been up to. Just his usual, like, this crazy bullshit. And is it gonna change anytime soon? Probably not. That's always the moral of the story at the end of these Daniel videos. It's the moral of the story of almost every video I make. Yeah, these people are crazy, and it's not gonna get any better, and they're only gonna get worse. I truly feel that Daniel, out of all the lolcows, is the one that's on the most slippery path, and he really needs to figure things out, and he's incapable of it because his mind just doesn't work like that. Even more than Cyrax, even more than guys like White Bowser, Daniel's in the worst position to constantly be messed with. Daniel's out there, he's on the streets, he's always looking for a helping hand, while all these other lolcows are mostly just hunkered down in their house, just waiting for people to text them and say some weird shit. And while people do that to Daniel too, he's always constantly looking to meet up with people and willing to do what most people just say on a whim. And I don't know, man. You guys let me know what you think in the comments, what happens next with Daniel, but I guarantee no matter what it is, it's not going to be good. But that's all I really have here today for y'all. I've been sick over the past 2 weeks, and I apologize for the lack of content. And even here, I apologize for how weak my voice is. This whole thing has been brutal. But we're gonna be back at it soon. And this was my first attempt at making a video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, man, before you know it, we're gonna be back at it like usual. And I can't wait to bring y'all all along on the ride with me while we keep seeing what these creeps do. And as I always tell y'all, always find something to look forward to, my friends. I always end these really bleak lolcow videos with some words of advice to go about your day, and that's that you always got to have something to look forward to, no matter if it's like a vacation, if it's something you're just looking forward to next week, like maybe going to a party with your friends. Just always be looking at something and being like, damn, that's why life's worth living, because you're just always waiting for the next big thing. And if you don't have that, it just feels like you're sitting around twiddling your thumbs waiting for something cool to happen. Always try to make it happen, no matter how little it is. Go online and buy yourself something cool and just wait for it to get there. Just find something, and it's a lot easier than you think. But Daniel Larson, he's just crazy. He's just crazy. I don't know what else to say about the guy. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the next one. And until then, take care, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.